ABC, my friend Morrissey. This is part like 7, I think, of my top 100 countdown. So I'm just week by week for the past 7 weeks now. I've been going 10 at a time with my top 100 albums. This will be number 40 through 31, I think. Really appreciate all the support for this series. As I'm getting closer to the end here, it's been a lot of fun. Again, if you haven't done this, or if you haven't made some kind of ranking with your top 100, I highly encourage you to do that. I mean, it's been a fun thing to kind of reflect on the music that I really love and see how it kind of stacks up against each other. I know sometimes it's kind of hard to quantify. If you think you have 100 albums that are, perfect 10s or 100% out of 100, then it's kind of hard to see sometimes how they compare to other records of the same score for you personally. But you know what I mean. It's just kind of hard to quantify these things sometimes. Anyways, number 40 here. That sounds right. Is classic "Love Supreme" by Coltrane. This isn't a first pressing or anything, but it's definitely early. It's definitely, I think maybe like a 70s pressing, late 70s. Gatefold, you can see. I don't know if I ever told this story on the VC, but I got this for $1 because honestly, it's not in the greatest condition. It plays okay, but it's pretty noisy. Sooner or later, I'll have to pick up a good reissue, high quality audiophile thing. But came with the Impulse sleeve, and it's on this ABC Impulse label. Sooner or later, I'll have to pick up an audiophile reissue for a good playing copy. But this one is just really cool to have, like I said. Musically now, if you haven't heard this, I mean, this is like the second or third jazz album I ever heard. This guy recommended to me, like, immediately. For good reason. Maybe it's not the best one to jump into if you've never listened to jazz music before, but, like, it's a spiritual experience. You can really feel Coltrane's sort of spirituality flowing through this album. It's almost like some kind of like a seance or religious experience, like I said. Getting a little more into not straight. I mean, it's still pretty accessible, honestly. It's getting more into the avant-garde territory, though, while still having melodies that you can pick up on and follow. The first track features a rare vocal appearance from Coltrane. He doesn't really do that too often. Just kind of chanting a mantra, "I love Supreme, I love Supreme," over and over again with the bass line. He's playing his sax. I don't think he's playing soprano anywhere on here. Maybe he is. I'm pretty sure he's just doing all tenor and all tenor sax, and he's sort of playing it almost like a singer would sing in like a gospel setting. It's a really interesting album. Highly recommend that one. You all know it though, obviously, but if you haven't heard it, check it out. Check out all these out. So I make this 39 here. I kind of teased that they would show up again on this list, but really great post-rock band from Canada is Godspeed You Black Emperor. This album's called Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven. Is the back there. Again, kind of gatefold. The gatefold is actually kind of like a breakdown of the structure of the whole record in terms of different parts or sections of the songs. There's only 4 tracks. Each one is like 22 plus minutes. Really interesting art in these inner sleeves. I gotta get some polyline sleeves in here, but really interesting kind of political themed artwork. It's funny how an instrumental band can be so political lots of the times. I mean, they do have some vocal samples and things, spoken word aspects, but yeah. Again, like I've described them before, really great at building up to huge moments of, like, it feels like, the whole song is about to explode through the speakers or fall apart in some way. Not that it sounds like the band is about to fall apart. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing could just shatter at any moment with how intense it's building. And yeah, they always start super quiet too. I mean, the first song, Storm, you know, it literally starts probably like at a 1 and climbs all the way up to a 10 by the end. And it, you know, it rises and falls. They don't stay at a 10 the whole time, but it keeps building up to these huge moments. Every track does that. I love every song on here. Probably my favorite though is Sleep, which I think is the third one. Great vocal sample at the beginning of that one. So 38 here is my favorite Simon and Garfunkel album, Bookends. I love that scene towards the beginning of Almost Famous where his mom, Frances McDermott's characters, holding up this album cover and telling him what bad influences they are. I mean, look at them. I think she says like they're high on the pot. But yeah, they probably were. And you know, this is again, I need to get a poly sleeve in here, but this is a original Columbia 2i pressing. Not that these are too hard to find, but I had a bunch of the later reissues, and I actually kind of sought these out for a while. I'm still kind of looking for mono copies, especially. I would be interested to hear the mono mixing of these, but the stereo mix isn't bad or anything. And this copy does have the poster with it. Let me pull this out real quick. You know, I remember reading something about like Paul Simon was a little bit upset with Columbia for including this poster in there to try to recoup some of the cost of the record, because the poster made it cost an entire $1 more than every other record. So if every record was like $4, this one was like $5, and that was kind of outrageous to Paul Simon. Musically, side 1 is one of the best concepts I've ever heard on a concept record. I heard a great comparison with this. It's not a concept record in full. It definitely all fits together with the kind of sound they're going for. But it's sort of similar to Kate Bush's album, The Hounds of Love, where one side is a concept, the Kate Bush albums being the second side, you know, the ninth wave thing, and then one other side is all the hits and all the radio singles, and basically almost like a mini compilation of the stuff they were working on for that year. But yeah, from all of side 1, from Bookends to the other Bookends, the Reprise, but everything in between there, like Save the Life of My Child, America is one of my favorite Simon and Garfunkel songs, Overs, Voices of Old People is like a really interesting field recording thing that Garfunkel did. Old Friends into the Bookends theme Reprise is one of the best musical moments of the 60s in my opinion. And I really love all the songs inside too as well. I mean, Fakin' It is good. Maybe Punky's the Limit isn't that great, but Mrs. Robinson obviously is huge. Hazy Shade of Winter is great, and At the Zoo I think is really charming. So yeah, they're high on the pot, but they make one of the best records of the 60s in my opinion. So 37, more singer-songwriter, Elliott Smith, not EXO, Either Or. I'm trying to think of what year this came out. I want to say like 96 or 7, maybe 8 at the latest. This is a modern repress that you can get pretty much anywhere. Real simple labels. If you don't know the Elliott Smith story, it's kind of sadly an echo of the Nick Drake story, whereas I feel like thankfully Elliott Smith gained a little more popularity than Drake did while he was actually still alive. But kind of similar thing with like a tragic figure of a singer-songwriter. Yeah, you all know about Elliott Smith, I think. If you don't, you should. This is a good place to start checking him out. Sort of a lo-fi aspect, which I think again adds to the charm of the record. Probably my favorite songs on here. Obviously, the closer, Say Yes, is great. Rose Parade, Angelus. Between the Bars is a huge song. Ballad of Big Nothing. Speed Trials, Alameda. All the songs on here are great. Again, all these records are 10 out of 10 to me. This one being no exception, and this one I think is one of my favorites of the 90s. So, was that 36? I always do this. Every single video I lose count. Yeah, 36 here. Is brand new, Devil and God Raging Inside Me. Now I know about Jesse Lacey and all the stuff that came out about him, and I definitely think that's very disappointing and kind of shameful. That honestly maybe ruins their music slightly for me. This was probably in my top 10. If you had asked me a year ago, this would be in my top 10. This kind of dropped down a little bit, and I haven't even listened to it since all that stuff came out about him. But I just can't deny how great this record is. Even if it is a little weird to listen to in hindsight, because so much of the lyrical themes on this record are about forgiveness and not feeling like you deserve to be forgiven and things like that. But you know, it's great. If you could call them an emo band, this is a little more mature for an emo album. It's got genuinely darker production and themes and things. You know, it's not all about like breakups and things. I also got the lyric book that you had to order separately, which I think in the original CDs they said if you would mail $1 to a certain address, he would, you know, make up some lyric books and send them to you. And he never ended up doing that. And then I think maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, they made these up finally. You're able to order them. So it's kind of a cool book. It's got all the lyrics, and it's actually got some guitar, like tablature kind of written in there, and you know, just the basic chords and things. Yeah, really interesting. I don't think I showed this gatefold yet. It's kind of there's also an inner sleeve in here, I think, that's dedicated to a bunch of their family members. Yeah, these are like all the people they knew that died. Like, it looks like a lot of their family members and friends and things. So yeah, obviously their death is on their mind, and lots of things going through, and sort of a dark album. I know. Give it a chance. Just, I mean, if you're truly disgusted by brand new, then don't even bother. But I think this is a good record. You probably see this artwork thrown around a lot. I think it's probably some of my favorite cover art as well. I don't know why. Something about it is kind of disturbing on like a deep evolutionary level, I feel. 35 here is classic Talking Heads record, Fear of Music. Pull out the sleeve so you can see a little better. It's the you know, embossed textured cover, pretty cool. US pressing here on Sire. This genuinely has some of their best songs on it. This is kind of the first introduction of some of the world music they would get into, like the opener, Easy and Bro. One of their big hits here is Life During Wartime. Heaven is a great ballad. You got Air, Mind, Paper, Cities. You know, he's getting David Byrne's getting a little weirder with it. Not that he already wasn't weird, but he's, you know, getting a little more abstract with the songwriting. Sometimes it's a lot more direct. Like Life During Wartime is a pretty direct song, but can't really go wrong with any Talking Heads. Any of their first four are great. What year was this? Like 70, 79, this one. I think that's their third one. So, oh man. 34 here is Neil Young's After the Gold Rush. This is his, I want to say his second album, or, no, not second, it's like his third. It's his second completely solo album, even though there are a few members of Crazy Horse featured on here in the backing group. Not that I can remember who off the top of my head. It's got I think this is a poster or just a giant lyric insert here. I don't really see this too often with copies of it. Kind of interesting. It's all handwritten stuff. And then, you know, on the Classic Reprise label. Front to back, one of his best albums. Just solid. I really love the tracks. Tell Me Why, obviously After the Gold Rush. Only Love Can Break Your Heart, which is a big hit. A little more of a rocker on here, Southern Man. And probably, weirdly, one of my favorite Neil Young tracks is Till the Morning Comes, even though it's like a minute long. And it hardly even qualifies as a song. It's like all chorus, basically. Or it'd be like if it was only like the last 2 minutes of Hey Jude, and the Beatles released that as a song. That's kind of like what Till the Morning Comes would be. Oh Lonesome Me, Don't Let It Bring You Down is fantastic. I Believe in You, Cripple Creek Ferry. Oh yeah, Crazy Horse is on here. Oh, here's all the credits. I found them. Oh, Stephen Still's on here too. Anyways, yeah, fantastic record. I can probably get a better copy of this, I'm realizing, at least the cover. It's a little beat, but I remember the record being really nice. I've definitely upgraded the record a couple times. This isn't my first copy of this. So, still looking for a nice cover. As always, I'm always looking to upgrade all of these, usually, unless it's like a brand new thing. Like this one is 33 is Daft Punk Discovery. I've talked about this in my Soundtrack for My Life video. Just, if you haven't heard this, give it a shot. It's not, it has a reputation of being electronic, obviously. And that's true. It definitely has the elements of that, but it's pretty much straightforward dance. It's so good in the way, just like whatever they were able to do with samples. I think kind of maybe not revolutionary is probably my favorite instance of using musical samples in anything. Just everything they were able to accomplish using purely samples. Favorite track on here is probably Voyager. Close second being like Veritas Quo, and maybe One More Time after that. But just, it's, you know, it's kind of funky, it's soulful, got some heavy disco influence. It makes for a really fun album, honestly. And again, they made they made a movie, or like a super long music video, like movie length animated thing, telling a story of like a alien band that was like abducted and brought to Earth to be like slaves to the music industry. It's really interesting. I don't know if you can see that on YouTube or anything, but I would seek that out. It's kind of interesting. And again, it just plays like a long music video. So 32 here is Bjork, Volnakura. What year is this? Like 2001, I think. No, it's not Volnakura. It's Vespertine. I get all her album titles mixed up. They're all one word. They're all kind of obscure vocabulary words. This is the version on white vinyl. Double LP, white vinyl. It goes really well with the artwork. Decent pressing. Not bad, not amazing pressing quality, but decent. Musically, I think this probably, in terms of production, is my favorite sound she was able to achieve. It's kind of got like a icy or maybe airy, ethereal kind of sound. Sort of like tons of like choir samples, strings, orchestral stuff, mixed in with the typical, you know, electronic elements. Really interesting kind of insect sounding drum machines and things, synthesizers. And her vocals on here are really on point as usual. I mean, this was peak Bjork through the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. I really actually love the song Aurora. I think that would be a good one to check out if you maybe want to be converted to a Bjork fan. Pagan Poetry is also great. Hidden Place, the opener is fantastic. Cocoon, It's Not Up to You. An echo, a stain is kind of a creepy, not creepy, but sort of maybe haunting song. I would compare it to How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead, with the kind of dissonant string thing going on in the background. Yeah, really cool album. 31 here again, I've talked about before. It's Weezer. It's Weezer's Blue Album. 1994. This is a MoFi pressing. You can see my sleeve got a little messed up in the mail. But it's the MoFi pressing on blue vinyl, which is, you know, color doesn't always matter to me, but for some reason with the blue, I thought I really need that on a blue vinyl. I had a black copy already, so I sold it and then put the funds towards getting this, so I didn't end up. I think these cost like $40. You can still get them, I'm pretty sure. But it was worth it in my opinion. This is a fantastic pressing. I've listened to other pressings. One time I found a like 2002 European pressing at Half Price Books, and I brought it home and played it, and it sounded terrible. Mastering on this is on point. If you don't already know this, or if you don't think you know this, you probably know the songs Buddy Holly, the Sweater Song, Say It Ain't So. But really, not that these are like deep cuts or anything, because everybody knows this album. It's not really that long, honestly, but some of the lesser known songs on here: No One Else, The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, In the Garage is probably top 3 Weezer songs for me. So is Only in Dreams, the closer, like an 8-minute thing. Kind of reminds me of like a Built to Spill song or something towards the end. And Holiday is great too, but you know, the rest of these are pretty well known songs on their first album, well-known album. Oh, kind of cool. These are all numbered, and mine is 000199. I got a pretty low number there. I really heavily associate this record with the first time me and my family went to Nashville, Tennessee, because my dad was getting a job out there. I don't think he knew yet, but I had the CD in my car. We took my car. I had the CD in there, and spent a long time listening to that for some reason, and nobody complained, and we just listened to it over and over again. It's, you know, it's only like a 40-minute CD. Probably listened to it like 10 times the whole trip or more, and that's where I really fell in love with it, honestly. Besides, you know, I've already heard the singles and things off of it, but the full record, front to back, that's where I fell in love with it. So this came out in like '94, I think, and this, again, this pressing you can get pretty easily, and the black pressing is just as good. It's the exact same. If you have a thing against colored vinyl, there's a black version too, don't worry. But yeah, really cool. So that's it for this video. I'm going to film another one real quick. It's going to be a Billy Hurst contest entry. So yeah, quick thank you to everyone on the VC. As always, thanks for the support. Thanks to all my subscribers, new subscribers, old subscribers. People watching this, you've made it this far, and if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. If you don't know what the VC is, just check out some other VC channels, vinyl community channels. But, you know, I don't have to, you know what I'm trying to say. Or do you? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So before I ramble too much longer, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys again. See you real soon. Take care.